In the exact same way that the movie was announced a couple years back, Miyamoto, for whatever reason, decides to hop onto the Nintendo Twitter account when everybody's wondering, hey, is there going to be like a direct or something like that to give us reason to be excited for the Switch 2? Is like after Donkey Kong Bonanza just came out and IGN gave it a 10 on 10 as opposed to Clair Obscur Expedition 33, which was a 9 on 10 because that's an indie game, and a AAA game, well, by necessity, it just immediately gets much better treatment, but that's another discussion for another time. But no, man, people have been paying attention because Nintendo, especially on the gaming side, their most important side of things, kind of needs to do a little PR for some reasons that I'll go over on the weekend. But no, seemingly out of the blue, he just decides to go, well, hey, here's your live action Link and Zelda, have a great weekend. It's like, what are we doing out here? It's wild, but hey, I mean, I look at these pictures, I look at that casting, and it's like, yeah, no, that's Link and Zelda, man. 1000%. Great casting. Once again, we're talking about another movie. It's so wild, right? Like, we've finally gotten out of that era of just, what are you doing out there? For the most part. Okay? And honestly, I'm incredibly skeptical about this movie because, well, if we're going to be completely honest, man, like if Nintendo is going to be setting up a cinematic universe or something like that, realistically, it should all be animated, okay? Like, you've got all of these fantastical elements, and if you're going to be doing big bombastic crossover events, like if you're working up to a big Super Smash Brothers event, I mean, how are you going to have your two biggest franchises, right? Because you have the Super Mario Brothers movie, which I think there's a sequel in the works or something like that. It's so wild, right? Because that was, the second biggest movie, a $1 billion hit in 2023, and we have no word on a follow-up. It's just, it's Nintendo being Nintendo, right? And another big head-scratching decision is, doing a live-action Legend of Zelda. I mean, of your prominent franchises, it's like, I guess you could well, no, there's still already too many fantastical elements, but I could potentially see Metroid going live action, but live action Star Fox, Jesus, and it would kind of like be very equivalent to, Disney doing a live action Lion King if there was going to be like a live action F-Zero. But you can't really do Donkey Kong that same way. Splatoon, that's, I guess not really too many fantastical elements there, but yet you could get away with doing Legend of Zelda at live action, but just because you can doesn't mean you should, and especially with the creatives behind it, it's like, it's cool. Nintendo's working with Sony, oh my god, bridges are being built, how fantastic, but these are also the idiots that brought you the Spider-Man-less Spider-Man universe, and greenlit Ghostbusters 2016. Don't exactly have the greatest pedigree, and well, there's enough reason to be skeptical, but on the bright side, Miyamoto's very much going to be involved, so could actually be a good story. It's just, don't need to focus too much on that because, yes, this isn't coming out for a couple of years at this point in time. May 7th or something like that, but we'll get a refresher on that because, okay, let's go over the post itself. This is Miyamoto. Hi, Miyamoto. I am pleased to announce that the live-action film of The Legend of Zelda will be played by Bo Braganson son, and Link will by Benjamin Evan Ainsworth. Okay, both of which I am unfamiliar with. Like Bo Braganson, I think she's early 20s or something like that, and I haven't heard anything about Evan Ainsworth, rather. It's like, okay, cool. They're both, well, again, it's excellent casting. Like, Bo looks like every interpretation of Zelda, and if you want to be up in arms about, oh, Link is blonde, well, in Link to the Past, he's got pink hair. I'm sure some of those Game Boy games, he also has, brownish hair, but yeah, dirty blonde hair. It really doesn't much matter, man. You just, also, here, it's this weird thing, right? Like, you can put wigs on actors, but yeah, all things considered, it's like, that's Link, man. It's very good stuff. It's very good casting. Very good casting. But Nintendo and Sony's live-action Legend of Zelda movie has unveiled its Link and Zelda. On social media post on Wednesday, Nintendo's Shigeru Miyamoto revealed that Bo Braganson will be playing Zelda, and Benjamin Evan Ainsworth as Link. Well, yeah, it looks to be the first photos of the actors in costume. No, I would highly doubt that those are the costumes because those just kind of look like, well, stock picture. That could be Link's tunic. It could be, I guess, but I didn't think that they were rolling film quite yet because, yeah, May 7th, 2027, and the film was moved from its original March 2027 date for production reasons, according to Miyamoto. But English actor Bragason is known for her roles in the BBC One series Three Girls and Jetty, as well as Disney Plus Renegade Nell. Legitimately, I don't know who that is, but to be completely honest, or I have never heard of any of that stuff, but that's a good thing, okay? Don't really want a famous actress for a role like this, all things considered. Whenever you have just such well-established and well-known characters, you don't really need big names behind it. That's why it was a shock that Chris Pratt did Mario so well. But anyways, last year she starred in a Euro-Lynn's vampire comedy, The Radleys. Those are words that I just said that mean absolutely nothing to me, but okay. Ainsworth, who's also English, was the voice of Pinocchio in Robert Zemeckis' live-action Pinocchio. Oh, God, I'm sorry to hear about that. And played Miles in the Netflix series The Haunting of Bly Manor. Yeah, that's what I've heard about him before. And yeah, he was very, very, very good in that to begin with. That was from a few years back, so let's hope he's continued to be good. And he also stars in Canadian comedy series Son of a Critch. Okay, listen, if that's on CBC, you might as well say that he's got a public access show. It means absolutely nothing, man. I can't tell you how many CBC comedies there have been in my lifetime, or even in the past 5 years, for Christ's sakes. And appeared in an episode of Netflix's The Sandman. Okay, well, I guess I won't hold that against you. But yeah, I'm happy with that. A vast majority of people are happy with that. But if you recall, there was another rumor that was going around back in May, and it revolved around fan casting, quote unquote fan casting, and I'll use that very liberally when discussing this side, the upset, because well, this is where it gets a little bit interesting. And a little bit hilarious if we're going to keep it a buck. But yes, Hunter Schaffer, Zelda rumor allegedly linked to PR firm attached to actor, not Nintendo or Sony. And yeah, it was absolutely hilarious when that was going around at the time. And I mean, if this film got announced, well, it does come from Nintendo, and for as many questionable things as they do in regards to their monetization practices and some of the spurgy things that they do when it comes to claiming copyright, all in all, when it comes to the content of their games, they're reasonably based, unless, of course, you get Nintendo of America involved, allow me to articulate appropriately, then things get a little bit fuzzy. But yes, if they were casting that movie, and this was back, like a decade ago, if this was 2015, 2016, oh yeah, Hunter Schaffer would very, very, very much be in consideration for Zelda. So because that was in fact just a rumor, and it was one of those ones, thrown out by an agent, by a PR firm in order to test the water, to try to get a name out there, to try to just drum up some interest. That's one of those, aw shucks, better luck next time. But no, of course, because if you don't know Hunter Schaffer, for as much as certain people wanted that to be their Zelda, there's some very obvious reasons as to why Hunter would have been a very, very, very poor choice. And well, because they didn't get their way, well, they're just lashing out very rationally. Okay, the Hunter Schaffer discourse has gotten out of hand. Well, I mean, when you have these freaks on social media saying that Hunter Schaffer should be allowed to take care of Miyamoto Donkey Kong style, like, what are we doing out here, dude? You were never going to pay to watch this movie to begin with, so why are you spurging out like that? Well, of course, it's because it's their favorite pastime, because gender activists lash out over Hunter Schaffer not being cast as Zelda in a live-action Legend of Zelda film. And yeah, this is where shit gets hilarious. Online discussions have heated up as gender activists express frustration over the casting of Nintendo's live-action Legend of Zelda movie scheduled for May 7th, 2027. We've gone over who is in those roles, and let's go into all of the schadenfreude from the modern audience. Speculation began with leaks from industry insider Daniel Richman, suggesting that Schafer was in consideration for Zelda. Yeah, see, that's the way that these scoopers normally couch their quote-unquote scoops and consideration consideration, in talks to be, it's in development, production is beginning, all of these little disclaimers and asterisks that they can go ahead and throw over the top of things. So if they never end up manifesting, well, they could roll back and say, hey, I never claimed it was going to happen, but yeah, there were discussions, it was in consideration. So yes, continue your subscription to my Patreon and I'll go ahead and give you some boilerplate stupid deductions to keep you interested. But I digress. Fans created art and petitions, but reports soon clarified that the hype was manufactured by a PR agency connected to Schafer, aimed at generating buzz. Yeah, exactly, and it didn't end up happening. So now that we got confirmation that it didn't happen and that a proper Zelda did get cast, well, gender activists have criticized the choice, arguing it overlooks Schafer's visual similarity to certain depictions of Zelda, such as in Twilight Princess. Right. I don't recall anybody in real life having pointy ears like that, but alright. But this is one of these comparisons, which is, yeah, when a trans woman looks closer to Zelda than an actual woman. I mean, are you sure about that? And yeah, there's quite a good question being asked over the top of this. Notice how they always use the same picture? Yeah, because if you take a look at Hunter from a different angle, I mean, it's pretty obvious why Bo got the role instead of Hunter. Well, there's actually multiple reasons why one could come to that conclusion. One of the textbook examples as to why we have to gatekeep these freaks out of, I was going to say video games, but just all forms of entertainment beloved to you, all franchises, anything that you hold near and dear, is because they don't actually care about anything really outside of just pushing their own pet projects and their own mental illness. Brianna Wu, one of the central figures of GamerGate, all the way back in the day with all of the sob stories your body can possibly handle. Brianna's been fairly vocal about, oh, how Hunter Schaffer got robbed for this job. I'm sorry, this is silly. If anyone was ever born to play Princess Zelda, it's Hunter Schaffer. Well, let's keep it a buck. Hunter doesn't even think that Hunter was born in the right body in order to play a role that you think that they were born to play. So let's just go ahead and, put it on the back burner. Don't you have Democrat ops that you need to be funding and running in the background? No, after this got just violently ratioed, which is hilarious, turning off replies after it ended up making the rounds, Brianna would go on and double down. I'm leaving the comments off, except to people I know, yeah, because this is going to be a really bad take. But hey, no, it's just the bigots and idiots that are out there that are just going to go ahead and flood your DMs with more death threats. God, where have we heard this before? I've been playing Zelda literally. Who the fuck cares, dude? Okay, when it came out, okay, and I feel very strongly that Zelda is at its best when it's a little surreal and weird, which that's kind of a weird self-report that you want to have a trans actor in the role and you say that Zelda's at best when it's a little surreal and weird. All right. Gamers tend to agree with me. No, Majora's Mask. No, Majora's Mask, okay. And Twilight Princess. You can't even, bro, that's already pissing me off. You already failed to capitalize princess when you were making your original tweet, but running it back okay, princess is a proper noun, and when you're talking about the game Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, you need to have both things capitalized. Are both beloved for a reason. Yeah, especially that's my favorite Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask. These are both super bizarre games with unsettling art. Well, yeah, okay. If the Legend of Zelda movie is going to be adapting Majora's Mask, I also wonder if there's going to be room. It's like Hunter Schaffer could still be cast. Like the moon is sufficiently creepy and unsettling. So yeah, I mean, this is definitely the face that looks like it could bring the end of the world. It's sufficiently round. Anyways, so the idea of a trans woman playing Zelda, to me, genuinely fits the version of the universe I love best. See, it's all about appeasing me. This is what I want. Well, that's fantastic. That's why you failed when you ran for Congress. You failed to sway and make any headway when you addressed the U-fucking-N, for Christ's sakes, alongside Anita Sarkeesian and the professional whore Zoe Quinn. Good for you. Good stuff. Hunter as Zelda would be cool and weird and sexy and beautiful and a little surreal. No. Do I actually think Nintendo is going to hire her? Of course not. The Super Mario again, just proper capitalization. Aren't you supposed to be some kind of a fucking writer? Played it in as safe as possible, and I'm sure this will too. But that's still the version I think would be most interesting. The deluge of comments yesterday were just flat out hateful and embarrassing. Oh, see, now you're trying to. Oh my God. Now you're just trying to sympathy farm over the top of this. Very dark moment for trans women. It's being led by Elon Musk and J.K. Rowling and a well-founded right-wing project to push us out of public life. Oh, shut your fucking mouth. It's just nobody really gives a fuck about you and your own personal grievances. If you want to live as a trans woman with a gaping hole that you need to stuff a Coke bottle in order to keep open, if that's the way that you want to fucking live your life, go for it, man. Nobody gives a shit. But if you're going to make wild takes that 6 people on Earth agree with, but you're just gonna say, you know, everybody calling me out for a really bad opinion, oh, that's just hateful bigotry. That doesn't matter if you're a man, a woman, a pretend man, or a pretend woman. Bad takes come in all shapes and sizes, and you just happen to be a perpetual producer of such shit takes. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.